regions in Nairobi in Kenya. Yeah. Rongai, people are killed. Githurai, people are killed. However, the information you receive, unadhani, they tell you only one person was killed. Okay, that's a life too. They do not feed you. They do not feed you the actual information. So you are just weighing the deaths of people, the number of people. You just night Kindiki was saying people are not killed, was not aware, people are not abducted. You are just arrested. Some of us were arrested. And your excuse is that the police unit is an independent body. Surely, Mr. President. Watu watakuwa wanauliwa alafu unasema police unit is independent. Alafu wakati wanauliwa your excuse unasema the economy is growing. How can this is right now the country is mourning. Properties worth of billions were banned. You have not addressed that. All you think about is the foreign policy and the economic status of the country, not about the livelihood of the common mananchi. Surely, Mr. President, we need you to be with you. Be empathetic. Your government should be empathetic. You should stop this issue of police brutality. That's what we want right now. Personally, the police came to my house at 3 a.m. They broke into my house. They refused to identify themselves, and that was it. We were abducted. It was like kidnapping. Hii mambo mimi sikumbuki, nilikuwa nadhani mambo ya movie. Mr. President, tulishikwa, tukapigwa. They even stole some stuff from our house. Imagine askari anakuja, ako na bunduki anaingia kwa nyumba, ako na mask, 12 of them with 12 cars arresting a single guy, an armed citizen. Alafu ukimwambia mbona anakuja kushika anakupiga. In the meantime bado anachukua vitu kwa nyumba yako. Unapelekwa place fulani hata ujini, not even a police station. When my friends were reporting the issue to the police station, they were not even aware. For my case, they even went to Parkland police station. That's where I was arrested. The OCPD told the guys, we know about this thing, but will not take any action. Meaning it was very criminal. The OCPD, Parklands Police Station OCPD, Deputy OCPD was very much aware what was going on. We were not booked in any single police station. We were taken in a certain house. I think it was a safe house or something. I was blindfolded. Some guys were blindfolded for like 12 hours. Surely, Mr. President, are we in a terrorist country? We just want you to answer that.
Okay.
This is why we're in this space.
Thank you very much, my friend. I regret your situation. If that is the kind of treatment you have gone through, I apologize. And I will take action in this manner. No Kenya. And I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that there will be no extrajudicial killing. There will be no River Yala. There will be no, we used to have 20, 30 bodies in River Yala. When I came into office, I said nothing of that is ever going to happen. And I want to promise the people of Kenya that will not happen under my watch. However, I have had the kind of horror you have gone through. That is not right. What I will do after this engagement, I would like, I don't know, in a very secretive way, if you can send me the details of what happened, I will be able to take action because you don't deserve the kind of treatment that you went through. Let me also say the following. You have talked about empathy. Maybe, people are born differently. Maybe we empathize in different ways. For the case of the floods, I even convened a whole cabinet meeting to just respond to that matter of floods. 3 cabinet meetings. My minister was on the ground. I was myself in Kiamaiko, in person. I came there in Kiamaiko. And For the first time, my brother, for the first time, normally when people are removed from places, they are brutalized. They are removed and nobody cares about where they go. Nobody cares about what happens to them. For the first time in the history of Kenya, I made sure that every Kenyan who was living in the riparian reserve was given money for alternative accommodation. We paid every Kenyan who left that place 10,000 shillings to be able to relocate away from the danger of the floods that were on the river. I mean, it was the best that I could do in that circumstance. And I promised them that under our housing program, because we now have their list, under our housing program, we are going to consider them the first beneficiaries of our social housing program. I made that commitment in public. If you ask our peers for housing, they already have the data on these Kenyans who were removed from the riparian reserve, who had to be relocated and relocated for their own safety. For your information, we lost many Kenyans who were sleeping there, but they were carried by the floods. And it was the best thing that I could do. I went there in person. My minister was there consistently. I had 3 different cabinet meetings to attend the issue. We committed close to 400 million to make sure that those Kenyans who were in that situation were attended to. Maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe I should have done more. Maybe then I should apologize for not doing more. But to the best of my ability, it is the first time the government of Kenya is providing money to relocate people who have been affected in situations like the one in the flood.
Okay, Mr. President, on the issue of Githurai, you said there was only one casualty, which is a lie. Mr. President, nakwambia tu kweli. Githurai inasemekana there are more than 200 people who were shot dead. Some wengine hata hawajulikani mahali wako saizi vile tunaongea ukweli saizi. In Rongai, they shot some guys pia. Wakakuficha wakakwambia ni mtu mmoja. Na ni ukweli reality kwa ground watu walikuwa wanauliwa. Ina ni ukweli watu walikuwa wanauliwa. Tulikuwa huko, wote tulikuwa maandamano. Alafu kuna issue nyingine. This rogue cop amekuwa kichapa watu risasi, anachapa watu risasi open air, kila mtu ana camera there. The DCI doesn't do anything about it. Amekuwa all over social media, in the media, but you don't even say a word about him. His name is Murangiri. That killer cop ameua watu. Watu wanazikwa kila siku sababu yake. Juzi ilikuwa last week Wednesday nilikuwa town. Nilimwona akitembea tu town vizuri. Along Moi Avenue, very happy, very healthy. He's a killer cop. Nothing has been done to him. Hivi tu tumekuwa complaint au kitambo. For how long should we be talking about this? About the killer cops?
Sorry.
You can go ahead, Mr. President.
My good brother, you know, it is good to be brutally honest. And I will not, as president, or even as a Kenyan, ever say anything that is not factual, especially on a very serious matter of people losing lives. Are you saying 200 people were killed in Githurai? Really? I mean, my friend, I mean, where are can the family step forward? People who are saying our members of our family are missing. They went to MAANDAMANO or they went to picket and they did not come back. 200 people is not a joke, my friend. So I really want to plead with you. I am sorry to tell you, you have wrong numbers. I'm sorry to tell you that. It is
Mr.
not
President,
possible.
we even have the names. It's all over social media. What about
social media? I want to offer
we
you.
have the names.
I want
Even
to offer you.
We have the
Tomorrow,
and the names.
I want to offer you to bring the names and family members of the people who are saying their loved ones are not there. Don't even take them anywhere. Bring them to State House. The family members who are saying, I have lost so-and-so. A member of my family was there on Monday last week. He went to MAANDAMANO and he didn't come back. And where possibly are the bodies? You know? So I mean, really, my good friend, it is just good to be, you know, we are dealing with a very serious issue. Please let us not use information that is not verified. It just helps to create a situation that is not correct.
Mr. President, I have another question too. Kindiki yesterday.
Otero, tupatie wengine nafasi, at least your co-host.
Ya mwisho alafu nimuulize alafu ni ad mwingine. Mr. President, jana Kindiki alisema guys were being arrested, not abducted. When a guy is arrested, it means the area police station or the area OCS or CPD is aware. When I was arrested, Parkland's deputy OCPD was not aware. Meaning these abductions are very illegal. Right?
Let me say the following on matters of abduction. You know, first, let us agree first that the era of extrajudicial killing is no longer with us. There is a new problem called abduction. And it is something that I am going to exercise my mind on because the police have clear rules of how to arrest citizens if they have to arrest citizens. There is a clearly stipulated procedure on how that is done. And if anything is done outside the procedure, then it is illegal and it is punishable. So when the police arrest somebody, they must declare to that person that they are policemen, they are arresting this person for this and that and that and that, and they take him to a place that is known. So that is a matter that I will take up and I will deal with it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Otero, tuko na wewe bado utauliza maswali, naona umeanza when you Otero, so unaamua vile utafanya, but patia watu wengine chance. We'll take 3 people, 3 at a time faster. We have I'll bring in Alai, followed by Edith, followed by Gray, and then you can give Wakili after that 4. So again,
Hussein, I really don't think Alai should speak because his comments will be biased. This space is basically about what we are going through in the street. Alai doesn't know about it. In short, Alai amekuwa kiongea mbaya kwa hili story ya maandamano. I really don't think
Alai can speak for himself. We can't limit anybody from speaking. Everybody has the freedom to speak here.
No, Alai is very bad.
So
thank you.
Let's have
Gray can speak, but Alai, no, he hasn't been against this.
Thank you. Otero, I've been an advocate of freedoms for a very long time, especially when we don't agree. So I would ask you to learn that lesson that you should listen to people, especially when they don't agree with you. And that's what the president is trying to do here. We don't agree with him, and that's why we want him to listen to us, and he agreed to come to the space. And moving forward, I really want to tell the president that, Mr. President, you know that your success is our success, and we really want you to succeed. The problem is that I don't know if you really want yourself to succeed as a president of Kenya. Because from the moment you got to be the president, there are things you did which I think just sabotaged your presidency. When you decided to say that you are not going to listen to intern doctors, I said, does the president know what he's doing? Because he's touching the hearts of Kenyans. These are the people who spend most of their time in public hospitals. When the president didn't take up the matter of pending bills and tell the counties and the national government to pay the pending bills, you know that one is touching the middle class, the working class. And these are the people who mobilize their children, called Gen Zs. And they came out and said no. When you removed Linda Jamii, when we interfered with Edu Afia, when when we saw your friends and very close associates working with bands of money, 10, 20 million in churches, Mr. President, I think you sabotage your own presidency. And that's why I ask myself that the president really tells us that he means well for the country. But is he really meaning well for himself? Because unless somebody else is the president who is doing all these things, the second and last question, because I don't want to spend more time, I'm an elected official in Nairobi, Mr. President, is the issue of Nairobi on-source revenue, which we have asked, we have investigated, we have been taken around. Mara, it was KRA which is collecting that money. We have taken to the office of the president. Finally, we were told that it's being collected in State House by some agency. We can't get, I'm the vice chairman of ICT in Nairobi City County Assembly. But nobody knows who is collecting revenue for Nairobi City County, Mr. President. It really saddens me, because if that revenue was collected in a transparent and verifiable manner, then you know, Mr. President, some of these bills would be taken up by the counties and it will not come to you in the national government so as to pay those bills, Mr. President. Those are the only questions which I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Alai. Edith?
Yeah, thank you for the chance to ask a question.
Edith, are you with us? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, let's go to Gray if Edith is not responding.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right, thank you so much.
Hello.
Hussein, this is Grayson. Hussein, can you hear me? Oteru unanisikia?
I can hear Eddie and I can hear the other gentleman.
I'd like to ask my
All right,
question if you can all hear me.
Okay, let's have one person speak. Gray, speak.
All right, thank you so much, Hussein. Edith, I'm sorry. So, Your Excellency, my name is Grayson Marwa. My question to you is one, and my question is on this very, very emotive and very, topic that we love talking about as a country, which is corruption. I know you stand on corruption. You have spoken about it many times. You don't condone corruption. You don't want corruption to happen in your government. But then I want to point out something. Recently, there was a scandal, with the fertilizer, and the CS was, impeached, or a motion was tabled in the National Assembly by a member of parliament for him to be impeached. But what happened later is that, the same members of parliament from your political party, the UDO party, went ahead and saved this particular cabinet secretary. What does that speak, to your stand regarding corruption? Do you support corruption on one hand, but on the other hand, because he is your CS, these are your members of parliament, they go ahead and flop that motion that was supposed to impeach this particular cabinet secretary? My last question, as a young person, there is a challenge of jobs in this country. But a month ago or so, in the day list, there was a freeze that the public service is not hiring anymore. What are you trying to tell young people? Yet you say each and every day you want to ensure that we give jobs to these young people who go to school but don't have jobs out here. People are, forced to do things that they shouldn't be doing and they went through the education system. If I can get a response to those two issues, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Grayson,
Do I answer those, or I thought we said we take three people? Can we take maybe Eddie? Eddie was somewhere. There is a lady called Eddie was somewhere or something.
Edith Kimani.
Otero, from my end, I see she's a listener. Maybe you can add her to speak from what I'm able to see on my end.
Okay.
As we wait for the engagement, can I proceed and answer?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Alai has mentioned three things. Mr. Alai, I want to tell you, Mheshimiwa, that I am acutely clear that Even if I don't succeed, I want Kenya to succeed. One thing that I am very clear about is what do we do to change the status of many Kenyans? Intern doctors. There was a long conversation with intern doctors. I made sure that they were attended to. I met the leadership of the intern doctors myself, finally, and we did make an agreement on how to sort out the intern doctor situation, including I have factored in this budget with their concurrence. When I agreed with them, we were supposed to sort out their arrears in 3 years. I offered to sort them out in 1 year after I engaged with them, and the money is in the budget. As I talk to you, I have even today decided that even with a cut of the finance bill, I will still make sure that they are sorted out. The issue of pending bills. You know, my good brother, we have pending bills in the region of 650 billion. It is the reason why I appointed Mr. Ouko, our former Auditor General, to interrogate all the pending bills for purposes of making sure that we can pay them. In fact, one of the items that I listed this afternoon, which was also in the budget, is a provision for us to begin the journey to sort out pending bills, because it is crippling businesses of people, it is destroying enterprises of Kenyans because government is not paying. The third thing that you have said about Linda Mama or Linda Jamii and Eduafia, I have done 3 things. Maybe the explanation. Let me give you just the explanation. On Linda Mama. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, Mr. President. Sorry about that.
What we are doing is, under our universal health coverage, I promise the people of Kenya that we need to ensure that we don't leave other Kenyans behind. Under our universal health coverage, in which this year we now have a budget for it, we are going to scale up the benefits of Linda Mama. That is why we have scaled it up into universal health coverage. We want it to reach more Kenyans. That's number 1. Number 2, we want to enhance the benefits. The benefits were 2,500 for women giving birth in hospital, in smaller hospitals, 5,000 and maximum of 17,000. We have now changed that. From 2,500, we have moved the benefit to 11,000. And we have moved the upper benefit to 32,000. That is not a derogation. That is an upgrading of Linda Mama. Number 2, Eduafia. What we are doing with Eduafia is that we are universalizing the universal health is universalizing insurance, so that every Kenyan, and you know, I made this absolutely clear, and that is why we have changed the law, so that not just the students who are in school, but every Kenyan, even those who are not in school, will now be beneficiaries of our chief social health. We, instead of having NHIF, we are now going to have social health insurance fund, which is going to cater for everybody, to universalize access. So on both cases, Mr. Alai, we are not derogating, we are upgrading and making sure that universal health is available to many Kenyans. Finally, on Nairobi, on source of revenue, I thought I heard the governor say the other day that he had increased it, he had raised more revenue than was ever raised. I'm not sure about that. But I want to tell you that that is a Nairobi County affair. You, Mr. Alai, should not be asking me. The public should be asking you, because you are the person You are the person responsible. You are the representative of the people. You should answer that question. You should be the one to interrogate the county government. It is your responsibility of oversight. It is your responsibility of representation. It is your responsibility of legislation. You should legislate how the county resources are raised. You should oversight the county government to collect it. I just want you to take up your job and do it. Let me, Gray Marwa has asked me two very important questions. Marwa, these are very important questions about corruption. Let me say the following, just three things first. Number one, I said before that corruption must be dealt with firmly and decisively. And that is why my act number one in office, the two acts that I did in office when I came into office was number one, to make sure that I give financial autonomy to the police so that they can pursue corruption to the extent possible, and that they don't have to come back to me, and nobody in my office will control the police in as to who they want to prosecute. That's number one. And I signed, and the budget of the police is run by the IG at the moment, and they are free to go after everybody. That's number one. Number two, I made sure that the judges that had been denied the opportunity to serve and to empower our judiciary, I signed them, and I made sure that they have been gazetted and they went to work. I did not stop there. I have enhanced the budget of the judiciary from 18 billion to this year. I wanted to be at 25 billion. Unfortunately, it may come down because of the finance bill by about $1 billion or so. Number three, I am the president who has sworn in the highest number of judges in 2 years in the history of Kenya. I have sworn in maybe 46, almost 50 judges, because I have agreed with the judiciary that justice delayed is justice denied. And therefore, I want to make sure that becomes the case. Number four, on the specific incident of what happened with fertilizer, I want to tell you, as I tell the people of Kenya, those where evidence has been gathered, sufficient evidence has been gathered, they are in court. The CEO, the general manager, and 7 other staff of the National Cereals and Produce Board are already in court. The minister was taken to parliament to answer for political responsibility, that to make sure that his oversight role was in question. I want to tell you this, Gray, that we are a country of the rule of law. When a person has been, when allegations are made against a person and they are not verified, there is no way that such person can be held to account. But when they are verified, like the case of the officers who worked under the minister that were verified, they are in court. I want to tell you, if a minister, if a principal secretary, if there are verified allegations of corruption against any cabinet minister or any principal secretary, the day they are taken to court, I will fire them. I will not wait for the court process, because there will be an element of confirmation that these are people who are corrupt. Let me talk about jobs. And you have said correctly that the public service has issued a circular that there will be, there is a freeze on jobs. The public service has a freeze on jobs at different levels. People who are employed at entry level, and the space around jobs is huge. Government can only hire a very small fraction. My intention, my plan, is to make sure that government facilitates the economy, facilitates the private sector, facilitates the entire enterprise space to create more jobs. It is the reason why I made a deliberate commitment to the people of Kenya when I went for the elections. And I said I will focus on creating jobs. And if you want me to explain to you the areas where I am focused on creating jobs, I will. If you want me to tell you how many jobs I have created in the 2 years that I have been in office, I will tell you, from housing, from digital jobs, from going to manufacturing, all the way to export of labor. I will tell you how many jobs I have created, and I have every intention to make sure that as many Kenyans as possible have an opportunity to have an income so that they can contribute meaningfully to the development of our country. Thank you.
Killing, you can speak.
Thank you very much for this chance to maybe ask some few questions to the president. I'll be very brief. I only have 3 questions to make. One, Mr. President, is that like most of the people have said, is that your government is full of lies. Because of one, I want to put it clear that when Finance Bill 2023 was passed, we believe that the revenue that was going to be collected during that period were going to be used for development. Personally, I come from a MASAA constituency, and on February of last year, the CS for Transport, Bonamurkomen, came to Kabiet Shrines and promised us that there is a road down there that's going to down from Kurgung to Chepterway, coming down to Kapkatembu. He said personally that since that this is a road that was left midway by the contractor, he was going to send the contractor in a record 3 months to be on site so that the road can continue so the contractor can start the construction. Up to now, we still haven't seen that. So that basically tells you that that is a liar. Number 2, I think the Gray has talked about the issue of fertilizer. You've said, Mr. President, that if you find that there is a case against the said minister, you're going to fire him. There's a case that has been filed by the Law Society of Kenya against the Minister of Agriculture. If kindly, we can tell the minister to step aside so that, trying to investigate someone who is in office becomes very hard. So let the minister step aside so that we can continue with the investigation. Number 3, I would want to talk about the arrogance. The arrogance that is in your government. I have heard Mr. President say that the issue of Finance Bill 2024 was, I think it was packaged in a way that maybe you should have done it better. Yes, you should have done it better. The reason being, the people you sent out there, since like the MP for Molo, on the issue of the motor vehicle levy, at some point in the TV, he told people that, if you cannot be able to pay that, just leave your vehicle at home. That is the arrogance that was being displayed. The leader of majority in parliament, Kimani Ichung'wah, even went out on a podium, said that, these are the Gen Zs, they come with the phones, they go to KFC, they go, and then they come with an Uber. That is the arrogance that fueled all this anger that you're seeing in people. And then lastly, on the issue of, I come from, this generally this region of Uasin Gishu and maybe Nandi and Uasin Gishu. There was an issue of the Finland scam that happened. There's a case in court. Parents paid for the money. The case is dragging in court. So actually, what you saw in Elred, I think it's more of, it wasn't even more finance bill. It's the anger that has been building up. It's been building up. So people were really angry because they've paid, people sold their land. The issues are still there. Nobody's talking about. We have a case that is in court. It can drag to 5 years. So what happens with the money that is been lost, that someone was going to go to school tomorrow or by next year, maybe they would have graduated. So I think those are the issues that I have. I want you to address in regards to the areas that I have mentioned. Thank you.
Wakili Saroni can speak.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for this opportunity to address you, and thank you very much, the host, Hussein and Osama. My name is Jesse Saruni, or rather Wakili Saruni. I am the president of University Students in Kenya, KUSO. And Your Excellency, I have a few concerns. But first, allow me to give you a background of why, in my opinion, I feel comrades were very disturbed about the finance bill. Your Excellency, if you look at the finance bill 2023-2024, it introduced housing levy at around 3%, which was to be redeemable. However, during public participation, the people, most of the people, including comrades, said that we can start at 1.5%. But without communication, the parliament went ahead and reviewed and made it to be 1.5%, but they removed the clause that allowed people to redeem the savings after they retire. Your Excellency, I would wish to hear from you whether it can be reverted so that this can be redeemable. But as I continue, Your Excellency, I was part of your team during the campaign, and one of the things that we were saying during the campaign, because I actively campaigned using the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, was the 30% of appointments of youth in different positions, and including a youth advisor to the cabinet. However, Your Excellency, currently we have an advisor to the cabinet on women affairs, but we do not have an advisor to the cabinet on youth affairs. I was concerned whether this was deliberately left out, or I was just a little bit concerned with that. Your Excellency, another key concern that affects comrades, around 6,000 graduates went through diploma in law, and this is in regard to career progression. So they did their diploma in law, and they proceeded to do their degree in law. Your Excellency, before 2014, everyone who did their diploma and did their degree in law were able to proceed to the Kenya School of Law for the ATP Advocates Training Program. But the laws were changed in 2014, and this affects around 6,000 university students who are working in law firms and getting underpaid. And I am happy to see that the president of LSK, who is very passionate about issues of youth, is also here. Your Excellency, there is an amendment bill in Parliament that is on the Speaker's desk and has stayed for so long. Your Excellency, this is something that is under the office of the Attorney General. And with the indulgence of the Attorney General, I believe this thing can be, we can find an approach where this thing can be addressed, of course, through the office of the Attorney General, so that these comrades can stop their suffering. They are not able to proceed to self-actualization, because most of them would want to become advocates of the High Court, but they are not able due to that change in the Act of Parliament. Your Excellency, another concern is on students and youth leadership.
Wakili, I really hate to do this, but please, we've only gone through 5 questions. I think there are so many people on attack.
Okay, just one more.
Kindly, we agreed. Yeah, please, kindly.
Okay. Your Excellency, in regards to university students and youth leadership, you can see that we have the National Youth Council, which is constituted. It's supposed to hold elections. And I feel, Your Excellency, the youth feel that they have not been able for a long time to represent their grievances, because they are not able to elect their leaders directly. And this goes back even to the University Amendment Act, which introduced the delegate system, which I feel that the universities have found a way to maneuver so that they make sure that the students who are elected are students who they can be able to maneuver and manipulate. Your Excellency, finally, on the issue of branding, the projects that our members of parliament and all other people has the aspect of when the projects are complete, people tend to brand their names on these projects. Your Excellency, these projects are financed by taxpayers, and it is the request of the young people and the youth that when it comes to branding, we would rather have these projects branded that they have been financed by the Kenyan taxpayer. I will leave it at that, Your Excellency, and thank you very much. But of course, there is the issue of mental health. I appreciate we cannot exhaust all these things in one sitting, but I'm looking forward to more engagements in other platforms. Thank you very much, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. The final question of the three, the ex-councillor.
Good evening, everyone. You can hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
My first request to the host and the co-host, please do not give the elected people the chance to speak, one of them a lie and me. You can hear me, Osama? Can you save the time? Elected MPs, any elected official should not take this chance apart from the president. So thank you very much for the time. I have two things. More, I don't want to repeat a lot of things.
In the meantime, I just want to address the president.
Number one.
Mr. President, si tulikuwa kujua huyu askari amekuwa akiwa watu kwa maandamano atashukua siku gani? Kwa vile amekuwa kirom freely tangu last month amekuwa to all over the city. Tulikuwa tunataka kujua atashukua siku gani? Kwa vile ilikuwa inasemekana amekuwa hivyo tangu kitambo na sio wa kwanza. We just need answers about him. Thank you.
Okay, he will answer. He will answer that. Plus, Councillor. Councillor, finish, please. Thank you.
Yeah, my question is to the president. Why is it that the things you're asking about today are not new things? They are things you did promise in your campaign, and the other time you are being played with videos of you saying the same thing. You had to find a way of not listening to those videos. The one thing that you promised us, one of them is corruption. Your people around you, you've addressed this one. You can't tell me out of the 100 people you have around you, 90% are corrupt or have story of corruption, and you are doing nothing about them. I'm a medic by profession, and the issue of NHIF, which is moving now to SHIF. I read the last 2 days of millions, 300 millions, another 900 million today, disappearing to wrong or fake claims. I'm wondering, is the change from NHIF to SHIF, will it improve or just another way to get more money for people around your circle to buy houses, buy big cars, and laugh at us? Now, Mr. President,
Councillor, those are about two questions. Now let's have the president answer. We don't have a lot of time. We have tunawatu wengi. They need to ask questions to the president. Please let the president respond to that. If we get another chance, utaulize swali ya tatu tafadhali.
Very much. Thank you very much, good people. Let me start with the gentleman. I didn't get his name from Mosop. And that gentleman says, we have too many lies flying all over the place. Let me just state, let me just put it clearly. So many people have spread this story about William Ruto not telling the truth or making fake promises. I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that there will be a hustler fund. Today, there is a hustler fund that takes care of 2 million Kenyans. I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that fertilizer is going to come down. It has come down from 7,000 to 2,500. I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that we will have a housing program. Today, 103,000 houses are being built with 160,000 young people, real people, engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, plumbers, technicians working. I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that we are going to sort out matters in the education sector. Today, we have hired the highest number of teachers in Kenyan history. In one time, 56,000 teachers. I made a commitment that I am going to sort out the mess that was in our universities. Today, ask any vice chancellor. With our new funding model, we have sorted out the challenge that was there in our universities. Today, lecturers are being paid. No university today is about to close down. When I came into office, most universities were teetering on being closed because of debts. I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that I am going to implement universal health coverage. Today, as I talk to you, we have 100,000 community health promoters in every village in Kenya that I pay, that I have equipped to begin the journey towards universal health coverage. As I talk to you today, there are 4 pieces of legislation that we have implemented, that we have enacted to actualize universal health coverage. I can go on, and I can tell you, every commitment that I made, I said I am going to appoint the judges that were not there. I did. I said I'm going to operationalize the fund for the police, independent police. I did. I said I am going to enhance the budget of the judiciary. I did. You know, when people want to conveniently say a few things that propagate a certain narrative, it is easy. But let me leave that there. Let me go back to the Mosop Kurgung story. I want to tell you, my good brother, we have stalled roads in Kenya. In fact, the debt we have on roads is 910 billion. Because we rolled out a program that we didn't have money to do. It is what is troubling me now. It is why many people are asking me, why are you outside the country? I went to China, for example, and I got 40 billion shillings to do at least 8 roads that were stalled. I have come back from the US, and we have had a consultation, and we are getting money to be able to roll out some of our roads, courtesy of concessional funding from the World Bank. I have had conversations with the president of Germany, and they are giving us money under the same program for us to be able to meet some of our programs. I want to tell my good friend from Mosop that we are focused on these areas. These roads did not stall yesterday. These roads have stalled for a while. We are figuring out how to make sure that we deal with that situation. And my apologies that maybe the minister did not keep his word, and I'm going to remind him. Let me do the following. On fertilizer, I want to agree with you on this subject of fertilizer first. Let me say this. Fertilizer has made a very big difference in Kenya. Because of our program on fertilizer, we have managed to increase our food productivity. For example, on maize alone, from 44 million bags to 67 million bags last year. This year, we are going to pay the highest bonus ever in Kenyan history for our tea. In fact, our tea production, because of the support we gave KTDA, has increased from last year. It was 180 billion shillings that we collected from our tea. This year, it's going up to 210 billion. On coffee, the average payment of coffee last year was in the region of 70-80. As I talk to you now, because we supported our tea farmers, the average payment for our coffee is in the region of between 100, 120, in some very good cases, 129 shillings per kilo. The whole array of what we have done with fertilizer is phenomenal. And therefore, I understand when somebody like my friend from Morsop gets annoyed when there are people who want to sabotage a program that is making a very big difference in Kenya. And that is the reason why I didn't delay 1 minute. When this issue of fake fertilizer came into the public, all the officials that were involved in it at the National Cereals and Produce Board were charged. When the minister is when there is evidence gathered enough for the minister to be held to account, I want to promise you that I will fire him, and any other minister for that matter, if there is sufficient evidence to hold anybody accountable. Arrogance. I agree with you that not everybody understands communication. Let me tell you, my good friend from Mosop, the day you become a public speaker, you will know how easy it is to make a mistake in the public. Sometimes you say things that you did not mean, but it comes out very badly. So whether it is the member of parliament for Molo, the member for parliament for Molo is a young man. I can tell you that young man is doing his very best. In fact, when I made him the chair of finance committee, many people told me he was too young. I shouldn't have made him. But I wanted to test also young people. And I wanted to mentor young people. And I want to say, he has made mistakes. But I want to tell you that young man is bright. He has a bright future. He made mistakes. I will apologize for him. Maybe he said what he shouldn't have said. But they are among the young people I am mentoring so that they can become leaders tomorrow. Same case with my friend Kimani Ichung'wah. In fact, after he made that statement in, I think it was maybe in Baringo or somewhere, I called him. I told him, look, this is not how to engage the public. If you follow the next day, he had managed to correct his statement. And he had done, an about turn of some sort. Because let me tell you, my good friend from Mosop, I have also one duty as a leader in Kenya. I have a duty to mentor other leaders. They will make mistakes. They will demonstrate, maybe some arrogance, maybe either inadvertently or in whatever manner. But partly, it's because of inexperience, partly because of not a fair understanding of things. But I sometimes will want to take responsibility because these are members of my team, and I will correct them. Let me also say about what you said about the Finland story in Eldoret. It is really unfortunate that people sold property, land, livestock for their children to go to Finland. I wish I could go to court and tell the court to jail these people. Unfortunately, there's something called rule of law. There's something called due process. If these people had not been arrested, if nothing had not been done about it, then I would think that there would be a matter. But these are people who have been arrested. They are, as I talk to you, presently in court. They are being taken through due process. And I am very confident that if they are guilty, the law is going to deal with them. Let me go to Saruni, Wakili. You said about the 1.5. It is true. There was a proposal of 3%. The public told us that we do not want a levy. If you want, collect a tax, reduce it to 1.5. So both reduction to 1.5 and changing to a tax was actually coming from public participation. This is what the public said. If the public are going to make a different suggestion going forward, we will respect what the public will have said going into the future. Am I still audible? Are you there?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you're
Let
here.
let me say this. I agree with you, my friend, that I said that I would have an advisor in my office for young people. But maybe I did something different. I gave many young people. If you go to parliament, if you look at the leader of Senate, if you look at the leader of many committees in parliament, I made young people. If you look at my deputy controller of State House, these are young people. I decided to have more more principal secretaries. If you look at the profile of my principal secretaries, you have people in their 30s, many of them serving in substantive positions. In fact, many people were asking me whether these girls, some of them look like they are, or these boys, whether they can be principal secretaries. And I am very proud of them. They are doing a wonderful job. But that is something I will consider, Saruni, that as a way of keeping a promise, I think that is something I need to consider. And thank you very much for your feedback. Let me also say on the matter of the law that is bringing problems to 6,000 diploma law students who, because of a law in 2014. I will take it up with the AG. Ordinarily, professional organizations like the legal fraternity are normally regulated by professional bodies like the LSK and all the others. If we get a recommendation from the LSK to the Attorney General, I will be able to facilitate and make sure that we don't enfranchise 6,000 people in Kenya who have undergone training and who need to practice law in the way they want to do. I agree with you that there has been a problem with the Kenya Youth Council. We need to deal with it. And I have told Ababu Namwamba, my Minister for Young People, to look at whether we have the right forum. The problem with the Youth Council, it has always looked like it is a government agency. We want to make sure that it doesn't look like a government corporation or a government agency. We want it to be a young people's organization in a way that government influence and government intervention is limited so that the young people can speak for themselves. I would welcome ideas, Saruni, from university leadership on how we can make the Youth Council better, more democratic, and more representative of the young people. I couldn't agree with you more on this branding issue. I see faces of people all over the place on government projects that have been done. And I think it is meant to look like they did it with their own money. I agree with you that this branding, if it costs public money, it should stop. And it is feedback that I am going to take in to see to it that no public money is used to paint people's photos on government projects. Let me answer ex-councillor. I'm told he's ex-councillor, but he's also a doctor. This is good. I didn't know that an ex-councillor, a doctor can be an ex-councillor, but that is good. He has asked me about the NHIF and the transition to shift. Let me tell my brother, I didn't get his name, that the reason why we are shifting from NHIF to shift is because NHIF is limited. NHIF only captures a small section of our society. It is my intention, as I made a commitment to the public, that every Kenyan must have two things: must have access to healthcare and must have access to health insurance. We must make sure that those people, even those who cannot afford NHIF, because there are many people who cannot afford the 500 we are paying at the moment. And that is why we have brought in a means testing system so that the people who cannot afford the 500, we have now reduced it to 300 under the new program. And even those who cannot afford 300, the government of Kenya is going to pay for them, so that no Kenyan will go to hospital, whether they are suffering from hypertension or cancer or diabetes or whatever. Either they get treatment because level 1, 2, and 3 are free, or they can go to a referral hospital and there is an insurance system through SHIFT, that's the social insurance. And let me tell you, one very important addition to this program is the digital health platform. The biggest problem we have had in NHIF is the digitization process. We lose a lot of money because of collusion between hospitals and staff at NHIF. In fact, you saw in the public media that there are hospitals that have more accountants than medical officers because they are gaming the system. We have now standardized all tariffs. There is no way you can be treated by malaria in one hospital and you pay 1,000, and treated for malaria in another hospital and pay 100. We have standardized, whether it is public, whether it is private hospital, We have now standardized treatment. That is what happens world over in countries that understand how to manage matters health. So this is a comprehensive program. It is one program that will change the face of Kenya. Kenyans will no longer have to sell their land, sell their property to go and pay for hospital bills. We will, all of us, stop these harambes and the public collections that we are collecting to go and deal with people. So, my good friend, this is the plan. We have gone through it with Parliament. We have enacted 4 pieces of legislation. It was my plan to launch it on the 1st of this month. Unfortunately, because of the challenges we've gone through with the finance bill, we have shifted it to begin 1st of October, but the process of registration has already started. I think we are on day 4, and already over 100,000 Kenyans have been registered. So, and I want to encourage all Kenyans to register so that we can be able to plan for our health together as the people of Kenya. And we can even plan for our health commodities, and we can be able to secure everybody from matters illness. Thank you very much.
Not finish my questions. So as I continue, no, but my main point was corruption, whether it's an HIF or chief. I told you 300 million paid to fake claims, around 9 million today, early in the morning. Will this stop in the new system? Is that since you came into power now 2 years ago, the only thing you keep mentioning is the price of unga going down and the housing project, which we do know very well will not be occupied with the common mwananchi like me. So do you have another project that you can always tell us? The things you promise, a lot of things, from police killings, that things are happening. Which one are you going to address other than the 2 of price of unga and housing? Now, in the police thing, there's somebody, as someone has told you, you have not addressed. Someone was asking, there's a police that killed somebody, is believed to have killed the first Rex, the first death of the protests. Still roaming. Yesterday, the other day, was seen in a video shooting directly to a crowd. I didn't see the end of the bullets. I cannot tell the crowd to a wall. What is happening to this? When are these people getting arrested? What is the CI doing about them? Why is it that the nobodies are getting arrested, arraigned in court in very few days, but then the big boys are just sitting somewhere eating our taxes? What are you doing about them? What is your direction to address this issue?
Thank you.
So, and also, if you notice something in the pattern, there are the last Maandamano, the recent one that was full of goons. How come the first four, there were no this violence, but then there is the last one with coffin in town and police entertaining these people dropping the coffin from the lorry, as well as seen parking them back in the lorry in the evening. It's clear that somebody was behind this and the police could not touch the very people that were doing this. But when it was another person with a phone and a bottle of water, they get shot, they get tear gassed. What is happening? Why do you speak A and do C? What instruction are you giving to the police? Yesterday I saw that you are praising the police for having done a good job professionally. Well, people died. What are we praising here? What Kenya are we looking at? So can we just match the word with the action? We've been talking too much. We see you on TV every day. Now we're on space. When are we getting to see action? Let me give space for other people. Thank you.
Also, Mr. President, have you tried to reach the families of those who were shot dead by the police or injured by the police? Even a single one? Have you tried to reach even their mothers?
Thank you very much. Let me just speak to 2 of the things that you have. Yes, I have tried to reach out to Kennedy Onyango's mother, Jessica Onyango. And in fact, I am scheduled to engage with them. I have already sent a message, and they were not available, but they know that I have been looking for them, and I will be speaking to them shortly. On the matter of this rogue police officer that you say is roaming, that is something that I would want to get exact details of who this is, and I can tell you that we will apprehend him and deal with him in accordance with the law. But let me answer also what my
We'll
friend.
send you video and pictures.
Pardon? Pardon?
If you're having a difficult locating the police, we have videos and pictures of them.
Okay.
So that should be easy.
Please forward the picture and photos to me, to Hussein, my spokesman here, and also I would appreciate if you can send it to also my inbox if you can, or if you can send it to the Independent Police Oversight Authority. We will deal with it. But let me also respond to you about matters corruption. I want to promise you that part of the pushback we had on implementing our universal health coverage is because of corruption. Very many corrupt people who are gaming NHIF were against what we were doing. That is why they went to every court available, trying to sabotage this program, because they know that they will be out of business once we roll out this program, because there will be no room for them to hide. It is also the reason why, my good friend, I am digitizing government services, because I want to reduce the interaction between Kenyans and officers who sometimes ask for bribes left, right, and center. I want Kenyans to access public service from the comfort of their offices or their phones or their homes. But let me speak to the subject of corruption in that matter. Number one, we will operate a digital system through and through, whether it is with KEMSA, we are digitizing KEMSA, we are digitizing commodity distribution, we are digitizing matters to do with the all health hospitals. In fact, the program that is going on now, we have grouped hospitals into PCNs, where we are grouping a number of hospitals into one PCN in every sub-county, so that we can identify where these hospitals are, and we are working with the counties. I know you have said that the only thing I talk about is unga and housing. Let me also tell you, the whole housing plan is not just about houses, my brother. It is about real people, real jobs. Jobs in our industries that manufacture cement, jobs in our industries that manufacture steel, jobs in our industries that manufacture clinker, jobs, engineers, architects, accountants, HR managers, and many people who are working in that ecosystem. And beyond that, let me also tell you, my manifesto is a 5-year manifesto. What what I am doing now is a cut. There will be an exam in 5 years. And I will tell you, when I do the exam in 5 years, you will see the results. Number two, beyond what I am doing on the space of jobs around housing, I am actively doing a big program on digital jobs. I was in Ruto the other day, launching with CCI a digital hub that is hiring, as I talk to you today, 5,000 Kenyans in Ruto. I challenge you, you can go to Ruto tomorrow to CCI, you will find them working. And they are not the only ones. We have 140,000 Kenyans today who are working in different parts of Kenya, in TVETs, in ICT hubs, who are not working before I came to office. Today they are working because I have a very clear plan on digital jobs. When I talked in my manifesto about digital superhighway, it was not a write-up. It was not an essay. It was something that I intended to implement. As I talk to you, we are rolling out fiber optic using our power lines across Kenya. And in this year's budget, I had set money to work with the constituencies, with members of parliament, to make sure that there is an ICT hub in every ward in Kenya, where young people in ordinary places in every ward can have access to the internet, to computers, and to make sure that these young people are trained and they can have access to a digital platform where they can work. As I talk to you, listen to me carefully, 149 to be exact, 1,000 young people who you can contact today are monetizing their talent on the digital platform, working under the program that I have set up. So it is not just housing. It is not digital jobs only. Let me also tell you, today, because of the program that I have rolled out on matters to do with export of our labor, as I talk to you, last year, 120,000 Kenyans went to work abroad in different countries. I've heard a good sister there say, what is the president doing in Germany? What was the president doing in America? I want to explain to her simply, what was the president doing in France? We are signing 19 new bilateral labor agreements that will give an opportunity for Kenyans who want to work abroad, an opportunity to export their talent. I'm talking about engineers. I'm talking about accountants. I'm talking about HR managers. I'm talking about workers in different fields who want to go abroad. And I have now begun the process of professionalizing over the last 2 years that whole ecosystem of labor and the export of labor out of Kenya. That is why we are seeing an increment, not just in jobs, domestic workers, I don't know, drivers, I don't know what. The reason why we are negotiating new bilateral agreements is that we want to go beyond those workers at that level. We want to export skilled labor, we want to export professionals, and we are creating the ecosystem for that to happen. In fact, if I tell you now, if you go to www.neaims.go.ke, you will see that there are 400,000 jobs on that platform. Different kind of jobs from different countries. We are now trying to make sure that those jobs will not be 400,000, they will be 1 million, and they will be largely, as we conclude these bilateral agreements, bilateral labor agreements, they will include many professional jobs, many skilled jobs. And I want to challenge the